I think the policy keeps changing. Some say
Exactly.
it's about, is it 10 or 5, and some say it's about for a quarter. And so you can't even withdraw that amount for a quarter. So the banks tell us different things time and again.
Even at a point, my bank said to withdraw cash, I have to pay a percentage from my bank, from my domiciliary account. Now, there are so many policies that are completely strange to the international community. But we live in an environment that is not really totally defined, in terms of the economic policy. Things can happen today, another situation will happen tomorrow. We are trying to respond to challenges as they come. It's not that we plan, for a long time and say, this is the direction this country is going in about 5 years or 2 years or 3 years' time. Until we begin to do that, we'll keep on seeing these challenges, and we don't have whistleblowers. If a person has money, or your neighbor just begin, all of a sudden you see him driving a Rolls Royce around you, then what kind of work does he do? I mean, you can report to the FCC. They can investigate. The only problem is that, are those people doing their jobs? I mean, are they doing their jobs? A person who has stolen billions, I understand some people have stolen up to about 100 and something billion of Nigerian money. So how much money will it take that person to buy the judicial system or even buy the best lawyers around?
Senator, is it that the National Assembly is not doing its oversight functions effectively? Because some will say the amount of dollars in the system couldn't have come in without the knowledge of the banks. I mean,
by and large, if the money is coming in through the banks, then you can trace the source of the fund. That will no longer, and if the person can establish the source of the income, it will no longer be money laundering. And if it's coming in through the banks, if the central bank decides to monitor those people with large stock of dollars in their account and say, okay, EFCC help us investigate how these monies got into the system. So they should be able to define what.
But just in case the central bank is not, I'm not saying they are not, but just in case they're not doing effective monitoring, what about the National Assembly that's supposed to be oversighting all of these activities?
The oversight is a question of the document.
Like when you were there, would you say it was done effectively? Because some of these debts go back many years.
Well, in terms of the debt ratio, some of us in the Backers Committee addressed issues of the law, policies, and we don't go into the nitty-gritty of the day-to-day operations unless there is a flag that we really want to investigate. If you go there to do oversight function, particularly the CBN, yes, they'll sit you in a boardroom, they will tell you how much money is in circulation and all that. So at the end of the day, you shake hands and you go. So you have done your job. If, like the AMCON bill, for example, we had to come in into Lagos, like a retreat, to sit down and look at the act itself, step by step. The ones we felt gave so much powers to the governor of the central bank, we reduced those. Those are the kind of things that, we were preoccupied with. Now, for a situation that the Naira is falling, in the international market, we all know the reason. Everybody wants to go abroad and buy homes, and the money will have to come from here. So some of the policies, people who are buying stock, actually converting the Naira through the bank system. And the ordinary man on the street, what's his business about buying stock in America or buying Microsoft or Oracle shares? So there are some areas that they are beginning to block now, which might yield results. But we're already used to this system. The taste is very high for foreign goods, and we're not producing anything. I mean, literally speaking. And I understand most of these companies are now moving to the neighboring countries. They did that a long time with Ghana, when the power in Ghana was very stable. They moved there in the droves, many companies. So now that Buhari is in power, and we know he has he has the support of most Nigerians, and the expectations are so high. If the power is fixed, then we can begin to talk about revamping this economy. All these approaches, they are fire brigade. they will achieve temporarily, then the thing will still go back. So if we are talking of people bringing in money or stopping people from putting money in the bank, let them put the money in the bank, find out how they got the money.
No, but the thing, CBN says it's not primarily for money laundering. It's to shore up the Naira. It's to ensure that the Naira doesn't totally lose value.
You know, I don't see how that is ever going to work. Because in this country, there was a time that you could not even bring money into Nigeria. It was a crime for you to import foreign currency into this country. Yet, the Naira was losing value, not at the pace it is now. Now, if you come up with a policy, and you are not saying the banks should not accept dollars, where would the banks have the dollars now to sell? Because some of them, they use this to do importation, I would imagine, and some people would actually do bills for collection. They pay money into their account, then they pay the foreign partners. Some people have recurrent expenditure. They go and put money in their bank, they buy dollars from the street and put it in their bank and they transfer.
Yeah, but that's the problem now. The banks say that if you buy money from the street and put it in your DOM account and you want to transfer, they would not transfer.
They will not allow you to transfer it anymore.
They won't allow you to transfer it anymore.
And they are now expecting that would shore up the dollar. It's not likely going to do that, because if you now, all you do now is you buy your cash. Once you buy your cash, you now find a way of getting it outside the bank.
So, Senator,
it's going to create another problem.
I mean, looking at all of these policies, because at the end of the day, if it succeeds or fails, they will blame your party. Your party is in power now. I mean, you're not in APC. The last time you were here.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Are you reaching out to them to suggest that, look, this is what you think, how they should run the economic management team? If I'm asking, look, where is the economic management team of this government?
Well, again, just like the president has promised that by September he will name the executive members of his team. And I believe that the economic committee necessarily might not include people like myself. So it's, they will get some people, some technocrats, maybe, but you need to infuse that with those who have the hands-on experience as well.
Yeah, but do you think we should have had, even if it's one person, at the moment, to give it some sort of guide?
But let's face it, the central bank is there. They have a governor of the central bank. You have very capable deputy governors, the likes of Sarah.
But you say that these policies won't really work if they don't address some basic things.
Exactly, because these are people who sit down and they come up with some of these policies. They mean well for the country, but they are confronted with a very big challenge that they don't even have a clue on how to resolve. Now, the problem is the damage had already been done. It's not a thing that will just take one policy of don't put money in the bank or begin to put money in the bank, allow people to put money in the bank, trace the funds. Where is this money coming from? I mean, if you put money in your bank, if I go and deposit $10,000 in my account, I'll say, okay, I bought this from a borrowed change, this is the name of the company. Or I'm making money in dollars. Then that means if I'm making it outside the country, it has to be by transfer. I do have a company that makes some little, I mean, we accept international credit card, for example. So the money goes to my domiciliary account. Those are the ones that you can see. But if I need money outside the country, I will buy money. If I need to pay my children's school fees, for example, well, so they want left in college, I have to buy money, put it in my domiciliary account and transfer. So there, if you ask me what I'm using my money for, how do I get my money, I can explain everyone. So it's different. If I go and put $1 million in the bank and I don't have a business that is supporting or is generating such amount of money, then I can be invited to visit the FCC or any organization that they might put forward to be a watchdog for such transactions. So I think it will be in our larger interest to still continue to allow those people stacking the money, keeping them, to put them in the system.
Would it be wise to maybe sell or stop the sale of foreign currencies outside of the bank, so that it's just the banks that do the foreign currency? Would that make it easier?
Well, again, that will create another major problem. Because let's face it, those people doing round tripping are the bankers. It's not the one making stupendous wealth out of all this, cashing into this, are really the bankers. It's not the everyday person buying 1,000 naira, changing it, keeping it, reselling, making a margin of about 5 naira, 10 naira. If you buy money from the bank at 190 something, and you are selling at 235, you don't have to do any other business. I mean, you won't worry your head about manufacturing or about any business that would actually generate money for you. So the central bank has to look closely inwards and monitor that aspect very effectively and ensure that if they are giving borrowed changes licenses to sell and people to buy, they actually have to ensure that they follow up through with that policy.
All right, Senator Ayarisha is the former chairman, Senate Committee on Privatization, was also a member of the Senate Committee on Banking. Thank you for coming on this morning.
It's my pleasure. Thank you very much for having me.
We'll be back in just a moment.